Hi, welcome back to CineMunn Podcast. It's got another new show for you tonight. We're going to do some trailer reviews, some poster thoughts, and tell you what we're watching tonight. With every show, we like to watch a movie. Once again, I'm joined by Golden Delicious himself, Time Metropolis.
You're still allowed to say that?
I am, but it's unfortunate because the golden is actually kind of fading away from the hair.
You're very observant.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it, alright? Don't worry about it. Tonight's going to be more of a trailer review. This is last week. We've just been bombarded with movie trailers. Warner Brothers, Universal, Fox, Disney, they have decided to just explode in your face with new movie trailers. So we're going to start with the first one, which was Star Wars. Star Wars Episode 7 coming out this Christmas from J.J. Abrams and Disney. I like this trailer. I enjoy it more than I did the last trailer. The last one obviously was a teaser. It was nice for what it was. Quick 88 seconds. Ladies. But this one gave me a lot more. It gave me a lot more interest in it. Showed you a little more, showed you more landscapes, gave you a little more idea. I like that they don't show you Princess Leia, they don't show you Luke Skywalker, they don't show you much until the very end when you get one quick little 5-second shot with Han Solo and Chewbacca. And Han Solo obviously has aged drastically. 30 years will do that to you. And Chewbacca looks like he aged backwards. He actually looks a little bit younger and glossier.
That's what, with CG effects and stuff nowadays, that when you're used to seeing those practical effects...
Well, he's still a practical effect. He's still the same guy in the suit all over again. He's still the same practical effect.
What was... and speaking of practical effects, this is really quick. I know... There was kind of some ridicule for it when they CG'd Patrick Stewart's face in Wolverine Origins.
Oh, God. That was horrible.
It was one of those things, like, do you really need to do that? But, and it kind of makes it a little goofy. But as in regards to the trailer, it did have that classic feel, the kind that I remember, or, you would reminisce and say, like, I know what that feeling is like. It's kind of like the old-fashioned Star Wars. Mm. The problem for me, though, is I'm still fresh in memory with
the prequels.
Episodes 1, 2, and 3.
You're still letting the prequels take
And I'm, right now, those were done by Lucas, so, and now it's being handed to Disney. Disney now knows it's like, okay, we can't use this formula, it's not going to work. Which is a shame, because you figure it's like, hey, Lucas is the guy that created this universe. You figure that he would be the guy to make it work right. Well, Episode 1, 2, and 3 was an example of not really. And, with, being with Disney, of course, larger budget, all that stuff like that. I'm not saying George Lucas couldn't do that. But Episode 7, I just felt it's a little bit... unnecessary and convoluting the story just a bit, because everybody's familiar with it being a saga. I'm familiar with it being a saga, and then you're like, oh yeah, well, there was comics, there was books, there was folklore, there was whatever, there was songs and video games. Yeah. Well, the video games are going to tie in.
Well, the video games still. Everything tied in. Not tied in, but when you're talking about the expanding universe, which came out after the original trilogy, they developed the expanding universe with tales like
the Clone Wars.
The Clone Wars obviously came in. The Thrawn trilogy, if you've ever read about Grand Admiral Thrawn, which is great by Timothy Zahn, it was a wonderful trilogy to read, which is what I honestly was hoping they would adapt into film with Episode 7, but it's not, and that's okay. I'm fine with that. But basically, what Disney had done has said that we are going to do away with the expanding universe. They're basically making that like Star Wars Legends. Like, it's not...
Okay.
Like, these are legends of Star Wars, whether they're true or not, basically. And what a legend is, whether it's true or not, it's folklore. It's, a type of history. Mm-hmm. But it's not direct. It's not canon anymore. They basically said it's not canon anymore. What is canon is Episodes 1 through 3. Sorry. Get over it. That's life. It's still the same story. I'm sorry. Suck it up. 4, 5, and 6, obviously the original Grand Trilogy, and now 7, and everything coming after that. So, New Dawn, which came out last year, Tarkin, which came out also last year into this year, all the new books coming out, all the new video games, the new Battlefront, are all going to now be part of canon with this new Star Wars moving forward. And therefore, from Episode 1 till now, everything coming will now be part of official Star Wars canon.
Yeah.
So.
And the other thing, too, actually, kind of we watch, a movie every night we do this. Mm-hmm. We're watching Empire. Is it Empire right now?
Yeah, tonight, obviously, with every show, we like to watch a movie. Tonight, we are actually watching Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back, which is the first time I ever saw Star Wars. This film.
Here.
This is the film I saw when I was introduced to Star Wars. I was not introduced in the right order, but I don't know if I would actually love the series as much as I do if I did not watch this one first.
Yeah, same with me. And yeah, that's been that way for me with Indiana Jones and a couple other franchises. The other thing too is just like my thing with Episode 1, 2, and 3. Mm-hmm. How they're kind of, to me, those were a bit immature and boring. Mm-hmm. And now, I mean, as I bring this up, we're watching Empire Strikes Back. This thing carries such a mature tone to it, and it's kind of like, that's what I'm kind of expecting. I'm expecting Episode 7, based upon the trailers and everything, it's going to carry that mature
Yeah, I think it will have more
tone.
of that. It's not necessarily a quote-unquote kids film, which is what, even when it originally came out, that's what it's kind of looked at as. But I think it will have a more mature... you grew up watching this... And
that's what George Lucas tried to do with Episodes 1, 2, and 3. I don't know why you would want to make it a kids' film if you're going to throw in like an hour of politics in there, because I will admit I've tried watching. I remember having Episode 1. Mm-hmm. Did Episode 1
on VHS? Yeah, it was on VHS. I had it on VHS as well.
Damn. I remember putting it in and falling asleep an hour and 20 minutes through.
Wow, so Padres, huh?
You heard it. I fell asleep in a Star Wars. What was Episode 1? That might be an
Phantom Menace.
I could watch these all the way through. Episodes 4, 5, and 6. Episodes 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, yeah. I've spent a whole day watching them over and over again.
Yeah. Same with Lord of the Rings, things like that. But, yeah. There's only one return.
In the name of the King, except the Jedi. Thank you, Kevin Smith. We love you. But so with the Episode 7 trailer, I mean, I like... You can see that there is more practical in it. It's harkening back to the original trilogy with real locations. I mean, you're seeing them outside in the desert. They're outside in the friggin' desert. That's where they are.
Okay.
It's not a soundstage set.
Okay.
I know they're trying to go as much... JJ wanted to go as much practical effects as possible with this film.
I really appreciate
as much makeup, as much puppetry as they could do. Now, obviously, if you have the ability to use CG to your advantage, because... It's been said time and again, effects should be used to enhance the story, not build the story.
Right.
They should be used to enhance. And that's one thing Lord of the Rings did wonderfully with it. It was enhanced. You bought it. They sold you with the way the hobbits were, the size of the characters. Those effects, be they in camera or on soundstage, you bought it. And I think the same thing's going to happen with this new trilogy of films. That they're going to use the effects to enhance the story, not be the story.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see a lot more practical sets, practical effects, in-camera work, as much as possible as they can. And obviously, if you want to enhance a shot, go for it. Why not? It's your film, it's your vision. As a director, go for it.
I realized that captain that's in that...
in the Walker?
In the Walker.
Yeah. We're in the battle right now.
He's in Indiana Jones, isn't he?
Yeah.
Wasn't he the general in The Last Crusade?
So we're in the Battle of Hoth right now, in our film. We're looking at Julian Glover, who's playing he's the commander during the Battle of Hoth. If you know his name, obviously let us know. I can't remember it off the top of my head. But he was in Indiana Jones' Last Crusade. He was Walter Donovan, the main bad guy.
He was the guy that did not choose wisely.
He did not choose wisely, yeah. He chose poorly.
Yeah.
And he's actually also on Game of Thrones. If you watch Game of Thrones right now, which a lot of us do, he is the Grand Maester in King's Landing. With the chain and the weird beard.
Really?
Yeah, that's the same guy. Same guy.
Huh.
Yeah. Huh. It took me a while to realize it, too. I was kind of looking at him as I watched Game of Thrones. It's like, this guy looks familiar. And then I watched the credits and it said Julian Glover. I was like, oh my god, I know that name. And then I watched Indiana Jones.
Nice.
And then I watched Empire. And I was like, oh, yeah, it's the same dude.
You get to hear about us, talk about it.
And you
get a little bit of knowledge about the actors.
If you don't know this stuff, there you go. You're welcome. If you did know it, obviously, I can't remember the character name for Empire Strikes Back, but I can give you the name on Indiana Jones, so... win some, lose some.
Yeah.
Next trailer we're going to talk about is the one that I was... Probably like most of you, I saw it leaked online the night before, and then Warner Bros. Officially released it the next day. Yeah. And that would be Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. this trailer just sounds so cool. I mean, the way it looks, the overlapping of news reports, people for, people against Superman, and the camera pushing in, turns around the statue of Superman, and they just graffitied his chest, false god, and kind of gives you an idea of maybe Jonathan Kent was right in Man of Steel. I actually watched Man of Steel the other night, and Jonathan Kent talked about, people are afraid, people will fear you. They're going to be afraid of you, what you can do. You're going to change our beliefs on what it means to be human and things like that. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the direction that's going to kind of go, is that people are going to be afraid. Who is this alien? Who does he answer to if he can do all this stuff? And the question is always Batman. Everyone answers to Batman.
Because I'm Batman.
Because he's Batman.
I noticed with his helmet, too, mm-hmm. at the scene where they confront each other, mm-hmm. his helmet had an Arkham Knight look to it.
Well, his helmet has a Frank Miller look to it. I mean, his whole armor suit that he wears at the end of the trailer,
Miller I can see, but that
is
that
taken from
iron
Dark Knight Returns.
Kind of metal, Dark Knight.
Yeah,
Returns.
Yeah, Dark Knight Returns from '86. Frank Miller's
graphic
novel.
Gotcha.
I know you should read more comic books.
I know. Yeah. But yeah, that trailer, I will say, I'm definitely more hyped for Batman vs. Superman
than Star Wars.
And of course, you've heard me go on about episodes 1, 2, and 3 and all that. It's not that I favor Batman or Superman or anything like that. To me, it's just what's going to be. The trailer is more appealing first, but the other thing too is just Batman vs. Superman. It's a bit more like, we actually had a discussion about this a while back. If the character is not relatable, mm-hmm. then sometimes it's hard to really grasp the story, unless your imagination is that wild and runs free. I'm not saying I don't have an imagination. I'm just saying that I've seen the imagination of Star Wars so many times that I feel like it's scripted, and it's like I don't really need to bother with seeing episode 7 or episode 8 or 9 or 52 or 53. Eventually it might get there.
Yeah, well, I know they're going to have spin-offs like
Disney.
Rogue Squadron or Rogue One.
Yeah. So, back to Batman and Superman. Yes, the anticipation, the build-up of how they speak, like, Superman being aliens, like, how do we trust them? How do we do this? How do we do that? And it's like, well, you do have from the last film that he defeated General Zod and his army, but again, you still have
destroyed half Metropolis.
Right. Actually, I was about to say, it's like there's more destruction in that movie than
than a Michael Bay film. Oh my god, no, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I know, right?
No, I'm kidding. There's no such thing as more destruction in a Michael Bay film.
More destruction in Michael Bay. Oh yeah, Transformers. Oh my
Transformers, Armageddon. Even The Rock, they tore up that poor museum.
Oh my gosh. I
like The Rock.
But, yeah, it's just... And, Ben Affleck, he does look great as Bruce Wayne. I'm not saying I need to know what his chest and arms and legs need to look like, but, as far as his... Presence, they did kind of make that Bruce Wayne look. And it does feel consistent with the Nolan Bruce Wayne.
A little bit.
Yes, it's not done by Nolan.
I think his Bruce Wayne, based on just what we got from those shots of him in the trailer, I think his Bruce Wayne is going to be a guy completely devoid of humanity. Like, there's no humanity in him. It's simply, this is my mission. And that's his whole thing. This is my mission. This is my goal. This is why I'm here. I'm Batman because of this, and I'm going to keep this from happening to anyone else at whatever cost it is.
Now, let me see. But, overall, that trailer looks good. And I really am... It just went on one of my top of the most anticipated, definitely. Oh, yeah. I really wasn't really thinking of anything at the beginning of this year. But after seeing that trailer, it really did put my expectations up for it. The other thing, too, actually, right before this, me and Vince were talking about how in I Am Legend... with Will Smith back in 2000, was it
2007?
There actually is a scene where, it's in the beginning of the movie where they're doing kind of I think it's the scene where they show the gas station, the gas prices or whatever.
Yeah.
It's in the very beginning.
Yeah.
But there's a big old poster on one of the buildings, and it actually is the Batman symbol with the Superman logo in the front, and it was supposed to be hinting that they're going to be doing a Batman versus Superman. However, in that poster, it said 2015 and not 16. Just kind of throwing that out there.
Right.
Anywho.
So we're going to be off by a year, but that's okay.
We'll be off by a year, but we're WB. And because we're Batman. We own Batman.
Yeah, Batman vs. Superman is easily, probably one of the highest grossing films of all time.
And I remember it was going to go on side with... They changed that, I believe. Captain America is now a different weekend, right?
No. Well, yeah, they... in the Game of Chicken that had occurred last year where the release dates for Captain America, Civil War, and Batman v Superman, they were supposed to come out the same day. The exact same day. Mm-hmm. They were both scheduled to hit the theater same day, same time. And it was going to be a game of chicken. Like, who would move their date? Or if neither of them moved, which movie would you go see first? I already obviously had picked Captain America Civil War.
Right.
Simply because I am a big Captain America fan. I love Captain America. Ultimately, Warner Brothers showed their hand, and they decided to move the date up to March, as opposed to, I believe, April. So they'll come out, I believe, just a few weeks beforehand of Civil War, and righteously so, they will dominate probably that whole month.
Yeah.
Before Civil
Batman
War
versus Civil War. Civil War is, I mean, it'll make money too, but
absolutely.
Especially with the anticipation of Spider-Man, because there's been no real news on whether or not Spider-Man's going to be in Civil War. It's not. And again, Marvel, they are very tight on announcing stuff. Their actors are contracted to not reveal any stuff like that. And so, I mean, the possibilities, I mean, Spider-Man even being in there doesn't really matter to me.
No, it's almost
the thing to me that would make Civil War kind of like crazy is if Tony Stark, this is way out there, but if Tony Stark was the Red Skull, just that he's part of the reason how the Civil War started, because that's been one of those characters that we just like, what happened to him?
I'd love to see the Red Skull again.
Yeah, and it sucks because what's his name? He said he wouldn't come back.
Hugo Weaving, yeah.
Yeah,
he unfortunately would not come back.
Yeah,
which is unfortunate.
He could change his mind.
He could change his mind, but I don't think he will. I mean, time is going on.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
So that was Batman vs.
Superman.
Definitely one of my top easily after that trailer.
And I like that they're doing like a voice modification. Like, it's not going to be like, he's not going to be doing like the Christian Bale deep voice type, I'm Batman. I think it's like an actual, either in the suit or in the armor he's wearing, he has like a voice modulator that will change his voice. And that, I think, is awesome. And just make him sound so intimidating.
Auto-tune like T-Pain. Batman with T-Pain.
Why you gotta ruin a good thing? Auto-tune like Kanye.
Because I'm Batman.
Do you believe? Yeah, no.
I don't think that was him.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
So,
but yeah, no, that and just in and of itself, that is cool. We're gonna do a Batman voice that's unlike anything else we've seen because it's gonna be an actual technology
what would have been
behind
even better?
What?
If they got the original Batman voice for the voiceover. Just have Ben Affleck play in the armor, do all the stunts and everything, and then you have the Batman voice from the Arkham series.
Oh, Kevin Conroy. Bring Kevin Conroy in.
Have him voice over and do all the.
That'd be great.
That would make that movie probably go up in as far as expectation viewers and stuff. It would probably go up a lot more.
Probably. You know what you do to destroy that, or even to kind of add just a little bit of nostalgia? You take that trailer and you redub it with Adam West. Oh. You get some old Adam West dialogue from Batman 66, and just kind of redub it over. That's little chum. No, okay, that's enough.
No. I mean, I'm just saying, like, wow, that would take me back.
That'd be hilarious.
It would be hilarious.
Or like when, on the animated show, on Batman the Animated Series, they had Adam West come in and play the Grey Ghost, who was Bruce Wayne's childhood hero when he was a kid, and as a superhero that kind of, at least in that world, maybe slightly inspired his Batman, which in and of itself is kind of funny, seeing as you had Batman 66 and you had the Tim Burton films, the Nolan trilogy, and now we have Zack Snyder,
right?
His Dark Knight. So Batman v Superman is definitely will probably be one of the highest grossing films of all time. It's a movie that's been
one of the
people have been waiting almost 30 years for.
The one that kind of was unexpected, as far as we talk about highest grossing, I really Fast and the Furious 7 or Furious 7.
Furious 7
is now over $1 billion worldwide.
Yeah.
And it's the fastest movie to even get that high. Now,
is that a pun?
I wasn't thinking.
It wasn't a pun.
But anyways,
where's the pun in that?
I mean, if it's still, I don't know. I don't think it will climb up that much.
I don't think it's going to go that much higher.
But the fact that it's got over $1 billion, I mean, that makes it beat out.
I think Alice in Wonderland, maybe even Pirates.
Wait,
Alice in
probably
Wonderland?
Pirates? Yeah.
Alice in Wonderland was a $1 billion film. It
Tim Burton?
Yeah, Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland hit $1 billion. Yeah, in 2010.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, it was 2010?
2010.
That's how long?
That's how long ago it was, right? Time flies. No, because your top grossers would be Avatar, Titanic, The Avengers. That's your top 3 over $1 billion.
Yeah.
In box office.
If it can top The Avengers, I probably wouldn't have too much of a gripe. But if it tops anything that can top Titanic or Avatar right now, I would applaud.
Yeah.
Anything. I do not see those films, like, if anybody asked me, it's like, oh, you want to go to the movie, see Avatar? Over what, nothing? No. You want to see Titanic?
No.
3 hours, and it's like, just standing there, get to the boobs already, that's all I'm here for.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But those are dated too.
Wow, that's me. She's actually gotten kind of hotter.
No, I know. But, anywho. Well, VHS, now there's DVD, and then Blu-ray.
Blu-ray.
Yeah.
I don't have it on Blu-ray. I just have it on DVD.
On Blu-ray.
I just have the collector's edition
I'm
on
not
DVD.
even going to care.
I know, yeah.
Yes. Anyway, so
this
Batman,
week,
Star
Fox
Wars.
has released their second trailer for Fantastic Four. Now, I will say this. If you've listened to our show, you probably know that we are not the biggest supporters of the Fantastic Four reboot. It's happening. It's going to happen. Obviously, we have no power over that. Neither do you. If you love it, awesome. If you don't, that's fine too.
People do technically have some power over it. They can boycott, because I know there was a lot of people talking about that, not even paying to go to the movie, just wait until it comes out on, Netflix or on demand or something.
But the new trailer they put out for Fantastic Four, it does look better. It gives you a clearer idea of how they're doing the powers, of a little bit of the characters and the personalities. I am still not entirely sold on this film.
No,
I mean, it could be good. I could be completely wrong. I hope I am. I really do. It could be the best film of the summer. It could come to
better than Batman vs. Superman.
It could be better than Avengers. It could be better than Jurassic World. It could be better than...
I ought to slap the shit out of you now.
Well, don't. Just stay over there. But I'm still not completely sold on this film. The first and foremost gripe I have with every time we talk about Fantastic Four is the age.
Yeah.
I like Miles Teller. I saw Whiplash. He was wonderful in that. It was an inspired performance. It was so good. I don't buy him as Reed Richards. I'm sorry. Just the way I don't buy Jamie Bell as Ben Grimm. When they talk about, there's a little back and forth between them about, the brains, if I need anything, I'll bring in the muscle. He's talking about Ben Grimm is played by Jamie Bell. Jamie Bell is not a big guy.
Mm-mm.
And not even physically intimidating, and I'm sure he could kick my ass. I have no doubt about that. The man is a trained dancer, and I'm sure he has the best muscle tone.
Capoletta.
Huh?
Capoletta.
Maybe.
It's a martial art.
No, I mean he's an actual trained dancer. Like if you saw Billy Elliot, and even some of the stuff he did in King Kong. I mean he's a wonderful dancer. He's skilled.
See the Thing break out in song and dance.
Hello, my baby. But I'm still not buying him as Ben Grimm. Now, obviously, I haven't seen the film, so I could be completely wrong in that aspect too. The effects look good. Yeah. They look a lot better than the Tim Story films from 2005 and 2008, I believe.
Well, I expected the effects to be a hell of a lot better.
They do have a lot more realism to it. It looks better. Even Reed's ability to stretch looks good. The fire for Johnny Storm looks awesome.
Storms don't stretch out till next week.
Ben Grimm looks very good. He looks a little too big, like more of the Ultimates verse. If you read the Ultimates universe in Marvel Comics, he's kind of overly masked and this big kind of hulking figure in the group. Mm-hmm. And for some reason he's not wearing pants. I don't know if anyone else noticed that on the poster or in the trailer. He's basically running around naked.
Sweet.
I don't know how you go to the bathroom if you're rocks everywhere, but
that's what you think about when you see the poster?
You know what? You give me all this crap about logic and shit on this show, and the movie.
That's the first thing you think about.
It's a tactical thought.
How does a rock take a piss?
Why not? You can't squeeze water from a stone, apparently. So. So, I mean, come on.
We just brought back a scene from Robot Chicken. It's like,
oh man, no, Pubertus. Why you gotta make that reference? Why you gotta do that?
Anyway,
okay. What are your thoughts on the Fantastic Four trailer without getting weird?
No. You're the one got weird.
I presented a logical conflict. How do you pee? He's got to eat.
I have. Now
I don't want to know how you pee.
All right, because you said how you.
It's not a specific question.
It sounds specific. Anyway,
oh dear Lord.
So,
shut up.
The trailer, it does look appealing, but the problem was when I was watching the trailer is that I feel like I should have been filled in on something when I was watching it. What I mean by that is that the trailer is a bit evasive and kind of... I mean, it does have some dialogue. It does have the character introductions briefly, but as far as the story goes, it seems all over the place. I don't know how you really took that because you've read the comics. I wouldn't say probably. He's read the comics. But for me, as someone who's not read the comics, I look at it. No, not necessarily, because actually I represent the general audience, right? So I'll give you that. If the general audience is not going to accept the trailer, they're going to be like, "What the hell is going on?" It's going to kind of steer their interest away. Now, at the same time, what steers their interest, and this is where Fox is getting a lucky break on this, is Fantastic Four, Marvel, and all that stuff like that. Fox does have the ability to slap Marvel on there and say, hey, look, these characters are from Marvel, but because of an earlier statement we said when the movie got greenlit back last year, is that we're going to just say F you to the character... the original characters, and we're going to rebuild them on our own, which is what, I don't know, that's one of the reasons why a ton of people are actually pissed at this movie, is that Fox announced that they are going to rebuild the characters just because it's like, we own Fantastic Four, and we're just going to make it our way, which basically is like, well, why are you calling it Fantastic Four? Why not just make another movie and call it something else entirely? So that's where... Well,
that's basic consumerism, is brand recognition.
That's where a lot of people are really at... they are really upset with Fox and the fact that they basically... It's like, hey, we own this from you, Marvel, but at the same time, we're not paying any homage or anything to the comics. This is basically something that we created... but we're going to use your name that you made. So that's the other part why I say it's like, why call it Fantastic Four? Call it something else. Yeah. And you can use a whole different cast.
I remember it got really close to them losing the rights.
It was much the way they 40 days, I think.
I think it might have been 40 or 30, like 40.
It was 30 to 40 because I remember the announcement coming out late February of 2014, and it had to have been... No, it was...
I think it was 2013.
No, they filmed it last year. So it was greenlit... that's right. It was greenlit somewhere in March 2014, actually, and I think it was the end of April 2014, Fox would lose the rights to Fantastic Four.
I think so.
The other problem, and you probably heard this before...
Much the way they lost Daredevil.
Huh?
Much the way they lost Daredevil. They had the rights to Daredevil.
Yeah, but
and they decided not to renew it.
Speaking of Daredevil actually just got renewed for a second season on Netflix.
Yes, it did, and I'm so excited.
Yes, I just got through the 4th episode, and holy crap, that thing is...
Dude, keep going. You gotta be... You've had a week.
Don't piss off.
To finish the damn show.
Do not piss off.
You've had a week. Finish the damn show already. By the next podcast, you better have that whole damn show finished.
So, the other reason why people were pissed at Fox keeping the rights to Fantastic Four is because there's 2 characters, and none of them are the main characters. They're actually kind of characters.
Surfer.
Silver Surfer's one of them, and
Galactus. Devourer of Worlds.
They are involved with the Infinity War, or the Infinity Stones. And that's where a lot of people are, the whole argument with Spider-Man, trying to get him into the Marvel Universe, and it's like, that was the same argument, trying to get Galactus and Silver Surfer back into the universe so things can tie together more smoothly. However, Fox was like, you Marvel, and actually that was the first one. The second would be like, we don't have to use your characters, we don't have to use that, but
we still retain the rights.
We'll still retain the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, it's named under the banner.
It's kind of another fuck you to Marvel. And I honestly thought... So, overall, I thought the trailer was a little shallow and pedantic.
Really? Shallow and pedantic?
Perhaps.
Oh, yeah. Well, we decided to save the best for last, and it is the best for last. Jurassic World.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Jurassic World. Universal decided to release a new trailer this last Monday. It was all over Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Chris Pratt tweeting about it. Colin Trevorrow, the director, tweeting about it. And they released it, and it is glorious. It is the eighth wonder of the world. And King Kong, he died. Yeah. Jurassic World is very much alive. And I am so excited for this movie. You get a little bit more insight into Chris Pratt's character and the respect his character of Owen has for the dinosaurs and what they do. And you also get a little bit more into Bryce Dallas Howard and her role as the kind of the John Hammond in the series of the financier behind it. And it's neat. You get these select character moments of her talking about the dinosaurs always as it. How did it do that? How did it do that? And you get Pratt going back and forth. She did it or he did it. She remembered where they put it, and she clawed it out, and it's a very different relationship in different respect. You got a few little glimpses of Vincent D'Onofrio. I know he's supposed to be the head of security for the island, for the park. He's in there really quick. If you don't know D'Onofrio, Full Metal Jacket, Men in Black. He was on Law and Order for a little bit, and obviously in Daredevil on Netflix as also the Kingpin himself.
The scientist, all the way back from the original Jurassic Park.
Dr. Henry Wu, played by B.D. Wong from the original film, is back at Jurassic Park. In Jurassic World, I believe he will be like the head developer for the new park as far as the animals and what they have. We get to see so much cool stuff. We get to see like the safari trucks out there with the Gallimimus. You get to see the gyrospheres that roll around. I think what I read about the gyrospheres, it starts out on a track, like it kicks you off from where you get in. It's like a ride, but it's a ride you control. So it's like it starts you out on a track, and at some point you'll eventually come off like a car wash. And you control it from there and kind of go wherever you want through the valley.
Gotcha.
Where all the animals are. And it just...
Kind of like, what is it? Down here in San Diego, we have the Wild Animal Park.
Yeah.
Now, there is a track that they allow a truck to, or, what do you call it? Yeah, a truck to drive around with a bunch of people on the back. But if, you pay a little bit extra, one of the trucks will actually go into the safari grounds, and, you'll have giraffes.
Very up close.
You'll get close to the animals. Ostriches are a pain in the ass. But... But that's kind of the idea. Except ostriches, you got to deal with dinosaurs in this one. So
it's just so much worse, apparently.
Yeah.
But this movie just looks all kinds of cool. From the whole SeaWorld influence with the water park to the Wild Animal Park influence with the gyrosphere. Everything about it even has a little bit of a Disney feel. Like there's a main street with these shops and things around it, all designed with a certain look to it. And it looks so cool and scary and fun and full of action. And honestly, time would prove that the effects get better with age. I mean, the dinosaurs, specifically the raptors dealing with Chris Pratt, look so real, and the movement is so fluid and beautifully done, and the sound is good. I can't wait to see this film. And the whole idea that the dinosaurs are communicating with each other, they can talk to each other, they're of higher intelligence now. Because of people screwing with genetics, they made them smarter.
Genetics.
It's a little bit like, remember Deep Blue Sea?
Yeah.
Where,
I was just watching that
they're gonna, if you've never seen Deep Blue Sea, what they do, as a way to cure Alzheimer's, they enhance the mass of the shark's brain and then take the cells out of it. Now, the side effect was the sharks got smarter.
Their brains grew.
Their brains grew
like
and they got smarter.
Times, yeah.
And so I think, I don't want to say it's an influence, but I think that's a little bit of what's happening here in Jurassic World, is that by screwing with the genetics, the animals got smarter, they can communicate with each other. And so the whole climax of the trailer with the aviary and all the pterodons coming out, it feels like all the dinosaurs got together and said, jailbreak.
Right.
We're going to get out of here.
Like, screw this.
All in all,
I was going to say,
yeah.
as the effects get better over time, I would have to say the Jurassic Park ride at the Universal disagrees.
Right.
I don't know if many of you, or if any of you, really rode the Jurassic Park ride, but it is the plain old animatronics. Mm-hmm. And after those dinosaurs move around a bit, that plaster, rubber, or whatever that stuff is,
it wears in time. And it's like mostly outside, too.
Yeah.
But I can even see the influence of that ride in the film. Like, in the first trailer, there was there's that little kind of canoeing scene where you got all these people going down the river and there's dinosaurs on the riverbed. I was like, oh my god, it's the freaking ride.
They still have
it's the ride Universal.
What was it? When I went up, when was the last time I went up? I think it was Halloween, but
I think it was Halloween for you.
They still have if you remember the ride, they still have the two little tiny dinosaurs
fighting with popcorn. Yep. I remember that. And two little compies fighting with the popcorn.
So that'd be funny to see something.
If you did something like that,
kind of iconic to that in the film. But Jurassic World. So overall, that trailer does have a lot of appeal to it. It has a bit of comedy mixed in to where you're kind of like, it's not, as we talked to, like Batman.
Mm-hmm. It's very serious
stuff. That's like very serious. Doesn't carry that kind of. And Warner Brothers is known for doing that to their the DC universe. They want to make things very serious, which is actually, I think last week we talked about the director leaving Wonder Woman.
Oh yeah, Michelle McLaren. Yeah,
and she probably wanted to do the classic Wonder Woman.
Well, it was
creative differences.
It was creative differences, but actually, what had come out recently in reports about specifics as to why she had left the project, she wanted to do a more epic film, kind of like in the vein of Braveheart or Gladiator, like a big kind of epic film of Wonder Woman. And Warner Brothers wants a more character-driven story.
Yeah, you got to introduce a character before.
No, but I mean, like, okay, but I mean, if you've seen Braveheart, you've seen Gladiator, that's still a character-driven story done on an epic scale.
Yeah.
So I think maybe maybe it was misinterpreted wrong.
It could be, but the other thing too is that I know they're still trying to build a universe for Justice League.
Yeah.
And actually, another thing too, speaking about building the universe, this is a little bit different from the trailers, but going back to Batman vs. Superman, they are two characters of the Justice League. Another one was, word got out today about Common joining DC, and there's speculation that he could be
Green Lantern. Yeah, his character John Stewart, Green Lantern.
Right, that's what he was actually. I think I heard he was eyed for that role at first, and then just somehow it went to Ryan Reynolds. But
they said to go with the classic Green Lantern of Hal Jordan.
Yeah. So they he did join. I'm not saying he is Green Lantern. I'm just saying that he's joined and he's a potential candidate. But yeah, Wonder Woman. It's kind of like you want to get her character going, because if you spend all your time, money, whatever, making this epic character-driven story, battle, whatever, film, and then you end up spending more money for that than you do for freaking Justice League film, then you're looking at your investment like.
I think we're gonna get a bit of her character though in Batman v Superman.
Yeah,
because she is in there. I think she will be a fairly dominant character in there.
She wasn't in the trailer.
Well, she wasn't in the trailer, but obviously I'm not going to show you my hand with the first trailer.
True.
I would never do that. We've only seen the poster of Aquaman. We haven't heard any type of dialogue. We haven't seen really a full head-to-toe costume the way we have of everyone else, and we don't need to yet. It's still too early. We're just under a year away from the release of that film, so I would not show Wonder Woman at all until the last trailer before the film comes out. Then maybe I would tease you with her. I'd throw her in there for 5 seconds, give her 1 or 2 lines. And that's it.
Show her lasso or something like that.
Show the lasso. Show her in action with the bracelets.
Show some skin.
If she wants to show some skin, that's entirely up to her. I am not against that.
Neither am I.
So, overall tonight, Star Wars, I'm for it. Tommy's a little on the fence with that one.
Still on the fence, yeah.
He's still on the fence.
As long as Jar Jar Binks is not in there, I could say that's
I think Jar Jar's dead by now.
You never know. Yeah. Disney might found a way to revive him, so he appeals. So the film appeals to little kids.
Your audience. Batman v Superman, we are highly anticipating.
Yeah.
Fantastic Four,
I'm not on board yet.
It could be a good film. It has potential.
It's tough because we did go over a couple of the reasons why even us ourselves are upset at not just like we're not saying, hey, we want the movie to be like the comics. We're saying the intentions of making this film were based upon just a cash cow reason and for keeping Marvel from completing their universe. That's the only reason. That's the same argument you hear with Spider-Man, because Spider-Man has been declining under supervision of Sony Pictures Entertainment, and a lot of people are like, hey, just give it back to Marvel, because...
And they kind of got it back. I
mean,
obviously, it's a shared contract,
but right now, Marvel's in a prime position.
Spider-Man back.
Right, Marvel's in a prime position to use Spider-Man in the Marvel universe only for Avengers movies, or could it be?
I think four Avengers films, as far as I understand right now.
Yeah, see, they like Marvel can't create a standalone Spider-Man. No. That would be Sony.
But they will have some influence over standalone Spider films.
So
and then Jurassic World. Obviously, for me, Jurassic World is still my number one anticipated film for this year, over everything else, over Age of Ultron, over Fast 7, over Star Wars even. Jurassic World is number one. That's the whole reason I love movies, I love film, even to the point of us doing the show. Everything was inspired by Jurassic Park for me.
I would say out of all the trailers, or if I was to rate the trailers we just saw, the top two, very tough for me. I'm going to have to go with Batman versus Superman.
Uh-oh.
The second one's going to be Jurassic World. The third one's going to be Star Wars. And the last one's going to be Fantastic Four. And, yeah, it sucks because, like I was saying, the top two, Jurassic World and Batman vs. Superman, it's tough because Jurassic World, it is that old-time favorite, but at the same time, Batman vs. Superman is just, I am so curious to see how that is portrayed. And, like I was going on about the look of Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne, it does have a bit of a classic Batman feel to it. So that was something that I felt I appreciated when I saw it. And that mask, his Batman mask, and all that stuff, his armor, yeah. I mean, those were just some small things I appreciate. Not like it was too far out there. I mean, like when I say too far out there, I'm talking about movies like Star Wars and Fantastic Four. Jurassic World is too far out there, but at the same time, it's one of those movies that has built itself really well with a really good explanation. I don't know if you you recall the first Star Wars, Jurassic Park,
of course,
where they talk about how they cloned dinosaurs from DNA of frogs
DNA, to fill in the gene sequence gaps,
right. So it's one of those things that if you have, and we talked about logical. This is not talking about the Thing and his thing. We talked about the logical aspects of the movie. When Jurassic Park,
how does the Thing pee?
When we talk about, I'll lose my train of thought. Like movies and just things not tying together. Because that was actually one thing that bugged me when I saw Jurassic World for the first time, or the trailer. I was kind of like, and knowing that the scientist was coming back, I'm like, so did the scientists change the DNA of the dinosaurs to be male and stuff like that without the park owners knowing? And you clarified with me, no, it was because the frogs, they are known to alter their sexuality depending on their environment. So that was actually something that was rationally explained in the film and made it work from A to Z. Now, there are some films, we actually had a conversation about this during the last one, that don't do that. And that's why, like, again, when it comes with Star Wars, when it comes with things like this that are so vast and convoluted, when you don't have A to Z, it throws me off track. It really puts me like, what am I supposed to think about this? So that's how, when I view movies, I gotta have not only the intro, but I need a solid conclusion. I need an end note. If I don't have an end note, and even if it's a cliffhanger, I know it's like, hey, the next movie's gonna explain it all. But that's the thing. It's like Star Wars. So Episode 6, they destroyed the Empire. Spoiler.
Say again,
right? So it's like Episode 6, they destroy the Empire. It's over, right? No. We're going to do Z-A. We're going to do Z-2. We're going to keep going on. And it's like, Why? Why do you need to keep going on?
Because it makes money.
Because it makes money.
This is a business. First and foremost, Hollywood films is always a business.
One thing I will say that Star Wars isn't, they're not Batman. So, like, yeah, it's not going to happen.
That's true.
So, anywho. But I think that kind of sums up most of what we were going for.
I think so.
Until next show.
Thank you for joining us. Once again, I'm joined by Time Metropolis,
Sweet.
who is losing his golden deliciousness, unfortunately. So, we have to remedy that.
We
have to remedy that. You, as the listeners, as the fans, need to petition Mr. Delicious to bring back the golden. Keep it delicious. I'm your host, Vince. This has been another CineMunn Podcast. Thanks for hanging with us. We'll see you next time.